The rain was falling softly over Seattle, the kind of rain that seemed to wash away the noise of the world. Inside a small apartment on Fifth Avenue, Emily Carter stood by the window, her reflection blending with the glass. She was lost in her thoughts, a mix of regret, fear, and something she couldn't quite name. It had been 6 months since her life changed forever. Emily used to be the kind of woman who had everything planned, her career, her friendships, her routines. She worked as a graphic designer for a small marketing company downtown, lived alone, and spent her weekends volunteering at an animal shelter. Simple, predictable, peaceful, until that one day when everything fell apart. It started with an accident, one she had never seen coming. Her younger brother, Nathan, had been in a car crash. She rushed to the hospital the night it happened, still in her work clothes, her hands trembling as she signed the admission papers. That's when she met Daniel Hayes, the trauma nurse who was assigned to Nathan's case. Daniel wasn't like most people Emily had met. He had a calmness in his voice, the kind that made others feel safe. And that night, when she could barely breathe from the fear of losing her brother, it was Daniel who told her, "He's going to be okay, Emily. He's strong, just like you." Those words stayed with her. Nathan recovered slowly, and over the weeks, Daniel became part of their little world. He'd check on Nathan even after his shifts ended, sometimes bringing takeout or a funny story to make them laugh. Emily began to look forward to those visits more than she wanted to admit. But she never told him that. Then came the night that changed everything, the night Daniel saw her in a way she never intended. It was late, around midnight. The rain had started again, tapping gently on the windows. Emily had been working on a freelance project when her power went out. She grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the hallway, realizing the entire building had gone dark. A few minutes later, someone knocked on her door. When she opened it, there he was, Daniel, soaked from the rain, holding a small toolkit and a warm smile. "Looks like the power's out for the whole block," he said. "I live a few buildings away. I thought I'd check if you were okay." She smiled, trying to hide her surprise. "You didn't have to come all the way here." "I wanted to," he said simply. Daniel fixed a few switches, set up candles, and made her tea. They talked about everything and nothing, about how life never really goes as planned. And for a moment, it felt easy. But then Emily's hand slipped, knocking over a candle. The flame brushed the fabric of her sleeve before she could react. Daniel moved quickly, grabbing her wrist and patting the small fire out before it could spread. The room fell silent, her heart racing, his hand still holding hers. The flicker of candlelight made everything look softer, quieter. That's when it happened. She turned, realizing that the fall had torn the sleeve of her sweater, revealing the scars on her arm, scars she had hidden for years. Daniel froze. Emily stepped back, her voice barely a whisper. "Don't look." But he did, not with judgment, but with something deeper. "Emily," he said softly, "you don't have to hide that from me." Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. She had spent years covering those marks, the result of a dark time in her life, long before Nathan's accident, before she learned how to heal. "I never wanted anyone to see me like this," she said. "Not even you." Daniel stepped closer, his tone gentle. "Everyone carries something, Emily. Some scars you can see, and some you can't. But they don't make you less, they make you human." Something in her broke then, not in a painful way, but in a freeing one. She realized that the shame she'd been carrying wasn't hers to hold anymore. From that night on, things began to change. Slowly, carefully. Daniel didn't push her to talk about her past. Instead, he helped her find ways to move forward, suggesting therapy, encouraging her art, reminding her that healing wasn't a race. Over the months, their bond deepened. Emily found herself smiling again, painting again, believing again. One evening, she brought him a small painting, a sunrise over the Seattle skyline. On the back, she had written, "Thank you for seeing me, even when I didn't want to be seen." He smiled when he read it. "You deserve to be seen, Emily. For everything you are." That was the first time in years she didn't feel broken. Years later, Emily stood once again by that same window, the one where her story began. Nathan was married now, Daniel was beside her, and the city lights glowed beneath the quiet rain. She looked at her reflection, the faint scars still there but softer somehow, reminders of where she had been, not what she had lost. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. Daniel smiled, wrapping his arm around her. "Every time it rains," he said. "It's the night you let me see the real you." Emily leaned her head against his shoulder, her heart finally at peace. Because sometimes, the moment you fear the most, the moment you never wanted someone to see, becomes the one that sets you free. Moral of the story: true healing begins the moment you allow someone to see your pain, and love you through it.